Good afternoon. Okay, let's talk about it. Jeffy, I am. Welcome to my channel. I'd like to welcome all new subscribers and all the old ones. All right, let's talk about something that's popular here in the YouTube streets. The Tone Illiana situation. You know, it's a very interesting situation because of the two individual stories. And if you're not really privy to what I'm talking about, please go over to Atlanta Street Interviews and get caught up on Tone and Ileana's story. Okay, let's talk about it because I believe that for me, and this is just in my opinion, all this is just entertainment. And when we look into people's lives to a certain extent, it kind of makes you think what's really important at the end of the day. And for me, I believe the child that's involved is more important than these two individual stories. So maybe we'll just jump into it. Now, Ileana, if you're familiar with Ileana and her story from ATL interviews, you know she was involved with a young man named Josias, and she has issues. If you want to call them mental issues, I guess that's what you can call them. But for whatever it is, she's had a troubling past, and the incident that she got into landed her incarcerated. Now, I'm not going to sit there and be a hypocrite and say I don't understand mental illness, but in this situation, she's been saying she was going to do something, and she actually went along and did something that was in her mind all along. Now, we don't know all the details behind the story, but her actions placed to where she is now. And I feel, I can't really say I feel sorry for her, but I understand. And if she, they talk about the mental health and her medicine and stuff that she needs, if she's in jail and she's getting along all right, she's not that crazy. And it's sad because when you commit a crime, you have to answer for it. And I don't really think she's mature enough to really realize that her circumstances landed her where she is. And you can't change the story. You have to go in front of that judge and tell him what's going on. So I don't really think that she should be institutionalized as far as jail or anything like that goes. But I do think she may require some is be institutionalized in a mental hospital or something like that. I truly believe that, and that may help her a lot longer than being incarcerated, because that child again is the main focus of this whole situation. And like I said, if you're not familiar, go check it out. And even in this picture here, this child doesn't have a hat on his head and not really dressed for the wintertime. So again, if you're not familiar, please refer to ATL videos. Now we're gonna talk about Tone. Yeah, a lot of things came out about Tone. Again, if you follow his story, um, what he chose for his life has played a big has made a big influence in his life. And whether he's coming out the closet or not, that young man has a right to live his life, but he doesn't have the right to deceive people. And saying you a man of Islam and claiming the faith in a false marriage, it's a lot of things that are in play. And again, for me, following his story, to tell you the truth, he has what you call scamming ways. And if that's an issue, along with the narcotics and all that, I believe that he needs some help too. He really needs like a big brother figure. And I don't know. That little young man, he seems lost to me. I can't downplay it or talk about him in any way, because from what he tells us, we just finding out a whole new person or personalities, which I don't believe, because in his story, his personalities are doing things he's not aware of, but he can tell you times, places, and certain key things about him also. I noticed with Tone, the times when he was gone out, said his phone died, he had gone for days, didn't know where he was at, come back home to Illiana. He's supposed to be hustling and don't have nothing to account for. A lot of things he done are very suspect, very, very suspect. And not to be funny, but to lighten up the conversation, look at the man's hat. You have to know something is going on with this man. Yeah, I might make a little fun out of that, but look at the man's hat, his mannerisms, the questions he was answering. And he may not have been ready to come out. So, but if he does, let that man live his life. He's going to do whatever. But I wish he wouldn't deceive people, especially the young lady he chose to not have a child with, because that's not his child, but to claim her as a wife. And as far as him doing things to get her out of incarceration, he's not really pushing, he's not really standing on the things that's going on. And again, if he's a man of Islam, he needs to make sure his wisdom is home and that child that she carried is with him at all times. So, anyway, to Marcus, the interviewer, the only thing I have to say is good content. I've been following you, brother, for a couple of years, and I think a lot of people have an issue with Marcus, the interviewer, because of his style of the way he interviews. And that's fair. But I think over, especially the last year, he took the criticism and he's doing what he needs to do. Far as he handling himself as a business, as a corporation, an entrepreneur. I'm actually amazed at what he's doing. Excuse me. And as as many subscribers he has, and his content is interesting. So I don't see what the big deal is. And if he paid for this content with Tone, if you get paid for an interview, Tone need to go ahead and relinquish it. So I don't look at Marcus the interviewer any differently. Whatever may be in his personal life or whatever, I don't know. I really don't care. I tune in for the content, and it's entertaining content. So to wrap it all up, what's the best fate for this child? These stories are interesting, and there's a lot of back and forth, and even blaming the Marcus the interviewer. But what is he to do? You can't blame him. So what's the best and well-being for this child? People dive into the story and have different issues with what's going on with the child in temporary foster home. I guess that's another storyline, but are we really going to tune in for it? Are you really that concerned about this child? If you are, continue to tune in. If not, you can't place that on different people who really can't do anything. A lot of people on this app make false promises, and then when it comes to this story, that's the only reason why I'm covering it, is because at the end of the day, yes, it's good entertainment, but what's really going on with this child? Does this child have the right to, have a brighter future, have a better future? I believe so. Not about yourself. Well, anyway, that's my thoughts on Tone and Illiana and Marcus, the interviewer. Again, I wish him peace and blessings. Continue to do your thing. Keep bringing us interesting, content, because you're bringing us content that we pass by every day and don't pay attention to, and it's right there, and you bringing it to us. So I guess we need to pray for this child and his betterment and see what comes out of it. Jeffy, I am. Like and subscribe. Just my thoughts. We talked about it.